Hello and welcome to Wildflowers Project and episode 4 of my tutorials on taking great images. And hopefully you'll then be keen on entering them into our photographic competition. I am professional wildlife photographer Oliver Smart, and with any luck you've already watched my previous instalments and learned a little bit about how to go about taking images of nature, and we will continue the theme over the next couple of episodes. Remember, there are 3 age groups and 4 categories to enter for each age group, so come down to Wildplace and see what you can find and photograph. In this latest tutorial, I will share with you a few tips and tricks that I use for photographing nature, including some gadgets and techniques for getting close and ensuring you have the best chance in capturing something special. There are a number of approaches to every subject you photograph, and I've covered 2 key elements in my previous videos: composition and lighting. Today, however, I will start by bringing in a few props and gadgets that I regularly use to make my job of taking pictures that little bit easier. Apart from your camera and lens choice, of course, you do not need to go out and buy all of this new equipment, and you may be able to improvise with items you already have at home. So I'm here in the woodland at Wildplace and I'm looking around at the wildflowers. I've got some nice lettuce celandines here, this bright yellow flower, which I want to photograph. So there are a couple of approaches I can take. Obviously I could hand hold the camera, but one of the best ways of getting down low and keeping your camera steady is to use a beanbag. These are a great tool. An incredibly useful prop for supporting your camera, or even using it as a kneeling support or seat. The contents only need to be as dense enough to create a stable support for you and your camera or lens. When I travel abroad, I carry them empty and fill up when I arrive, either with dried beans, rice, sand, or whatever else I can lay my hands on, cheaply and easily. Of course, instead of a beanbag, I will also use a tripod, monopod, or even a ground pod for taking images. However, you may simply wish to or be able to shoot handheld. So make sure you have a steady frame, your elbows are tucked in, and shoot with a fast enough speed to render the images nice and sharp. Most modern cameras now have live view or rotating and angled screen. I prefer to use an angle finder, as this brings my eye closer to the action and really helps when working low to the ground, or perhaps over water without actually having to be in the water. It is also particularly useful when shooting at the beginning or end of the day, when the sun is low in the sky, and being directly behind the camera would actually create a shadow over my subjects. Turning it like a flip screen allows me to continue viewing the subject from a different angle, thus allowing the beautiful light to do the shot justice. Now, with my set created here, you'll notice that I've got a few little bits of vegetation around, dead bits of vegetation, and little sticks I want to remove out of the way, just to tidy up my set. So I can remove these, and that will create a nicer view. And as you may also be able to see, my head is actually creating a shadow over the subject. So again, using the angle finder and getting down low will give me the best composition. Okay, well, let's see how that comes out. So when you come to finding your subject, one of the things that I like to use is the spray bottle. This is a very useful little tool. Just add water. It not only adds some lovely water drops to vegetation, but it can also create a fine mist above your subject, as if it were lightly raining. It will also help bring to life wooden perches and saturates the colours nicely too, making them stand out with more vibrancy. Once applied, you can also use a little bit of fill-in flash, which will make all the water droplets sparkle. So clamps are a very neat way to hold your plant subject still whilst you take the picture, particularly if you choose to shoot at slow speeds or there is some additional subject movement due to a breeze. Holding any nearby vegetation out of the way if you wish to have a cleaner looking foreground or background is another useful method for using clamps. Or of course, you can use your hand or any other prop that will keep distractions out of the view temporarily. Remember never to remove vegetation or cut flowers around your subject, as these will be good for nectar-loving insects to feed on, and will change or damage the scene for others. To secure the clamp, I tend to use a tent peg or similar to stick in the ground first to get a good fixing, and then the more delicate end on the stem itself, just below where I'd be composing my image. One other thing we can use as part of this little creation here, this little set creation we've got going on, is a reflector. It's particularly useful when you want to bounce light back onto a subject. It could be you need to fill in some shadow areas or even create a slight glow around the subject. In the case with the plant that we're photographing here and the water droplets coming down with the mist, it's really good to bounce the light back and highlight those droplets in the frame. Many reflectors come in different colours, normally white, black, silver or gold. The silver and gold reflectors may also add some additional warmth to the image, or you can use the white or black ones as a background and have the subject standing out against a pure white backdrop or in deep shade with the black one. And you see the light. You can see how the light is reflecting incredibly onto the plant to either bounce light onto it, give you extra detail and extra light resource if you need it. Okay, now the last thing we can try now is using the mist actually above the plant as if it was raining. This is where you come in, Scott. Okay, go. And some final tips for finding wildlife here at Wild Place Project. If you're keen on photographing birds, then learn their songs and calls too. This will often help you track them down, and when you find them, assuming they're still singing, they'll make nicer images with their beak open. As it is breeding time, do be careful not to disturb birds if they're going to a nest site. However, you may be able to sit quietly nearby and watch them bringing in nesting material, or possibly even food for chicks as the season progresses. Mammals are generally trickier in the UK with a lot of shy or nocturnal species. However, several species are easy to find and can make for fantastic imagery. At Wild Place, of course, there are lots of mammals in the collections, including brown bear, gelada baboon, meerkat, cheetah, lynx and wolf, and behind me, eland and zebra too. When photographing butterflies, look for their food plants. This will help you find the adults as they need the food plant in which to lay eggs. Some are very choosy and will only use one species of plant in which to lay their eggs. A common species at this time of year is the orange tip, and they require lady's smock or cuckoo flower and also garlic mustard where they lay their eggs. Find their food plant and then try and look for the adults. You may also be lucky at Wild Place to find red admiral, comma, peacock or small tortoiseshell. They love nettles, so not only keep an eye out in the grounds, but make sure you have a wild space at home too, where butterflies will thrive. Brimstones are also on the wing at the moment, and they love buckthorn or older buckthorn to lay their eggs. Speckled wood is a typical woodland edge species, and these can be found along hedgerows, and bramble is a favoured nectar source. They lay their eggs in grasses, so keep an eye out for these delightful spotted brown butterflies. As for landscapes and wildflowers, then there are quite a few options around the grounds of Wild Place. Consider using leading lines taking you into the frame and showing the beauty of the plants as well as capturing a pleasing sky. And don't forget to look up too. Perhaps in the woodland there may be an opportunity for interesting canopy shots or being creative amongst the wildflowers and grasses. Whatever you decide to shoot, have fun and immerse yourself in nature, even if it's just for a few minutes. Well folks, that is it for this episode. The final instalment will come very soon, and part 6 will finish the series detailing how you can prepare and upload your images to the competition. I hope you've enjoyed watching this today, and if it has inspired you to grab your camera or smartphone, then come down to Wild Place to take some creative shots. Good luck and see you next time.